no one deserves to go to work. And I know what I was saying, how I was treated as when I was apprentice. I don't want other people to be treated like that. Everyone should be treated right, and they should have the chance to be taught well and be taught safely and the right thing.
G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. We are back in the shed this afternoon for another cracking episode. You'll have to bear with us. We do have a thunderstorm going over, so it's bloody thundering and raining and shit on the old tin shed. But anyway, we'll get through it. But today's going to be a cracker. We've already been having a really good conversation. Super pumped to hear where this guy's going with his career. But basically, he's on a similar mission to I am, and he wants to completely change and upgrade the electrical side of the building industry. So massive warm shout out to Josh from New Age Electrical, mate. How are you?
I'm going really well, mate. Thanks for having me.
Mate, hats off to you. You just bloody followed this storm all the way up the coast. What did it take you, like 4 hours to get here?
I dragged it with me the whole way. So sorry about that.
Mate, we got lots to talk about. I'm keen to know about, like, you're into your saunas, your ice baths, your surfing, you're in this Bodie Boys group down where you are. You won awards, but like I'm super keen to deep dive into your industry or into your business because like you're only a young fella and you've grown. What are you growing from 2 tradesmen to over 20 employees in the last 4 years? Like you're probably one of the biggest electricians in your area, aren't you?
Yeah. We're trying to just keep moving forward and stay relevant and stay on top of it. We want to be at the forefront of where we are and make sure we're always, doing something new. We always want to be in the front of people's minds, and that's why we've kind of built a brand, and that's what we're trying to push.
Brand's important, isn't it? Like,
brand's important.
So many people overlook the power of their brand, and especially these days, personal brands. Like, it's a big part of business.
And it's hard when you look at Instagram, you're putting your whole brand out there and everything you do, and you can put all your work out there and you're putting it out there for the world to see. So creating a brand around that, I don't see it any dissimilar from creating a clothing brand at the end of the day. Like, you want to get people involved and people to follow along, then create a brand. That's the best way to do it. And I think we've done that from day one, creating a good logo that stands out and just updating Instagram with everything we're doing. And I think it's worked for us. So definitely something that needs to be done for anyone starting a business, that's for sure.
And anyone with a business. Like it's putting you out there, your beliefs, your cultures, all those things, like your work, your team, like all your interactions with your clients, the work you do. So it's your brand is like ultimately what's going to attract you, the right type of clients, the right type of employees, the right type of suppliers, all those types of things. So,
well, it's what sets you apart as well. So say, in our area there's 100 electricians. Like, why are you going to choose us? If I don't have an Instagram and I don't have something that stands out, or I'm not using Instagram, how do you know who I am or what we do? You know what I mean? Like, the times have changed from word of mouth is so good, but the times have changed from that, where it's like, especially where we live in Byron, there's so many people coming, like developers and builders from here or Melbourne and Sydney coming to the area that they don't know the local trades to get any feedback from other people or people there. So what do? They're going to jump on Google, they're going to jump on Instagram, they're going to be searching local electrician and then we've built our website to make sure I know it's the best in the area without pumping our tires up. I know it's good. I've pumped so much time and effort into that, working real hard to make it look sick. It's got videos on there. It looks really good. That's the first impression of our business. And that's
it's not only, I think it's more than that. Like, I think if you, like, you can tell how passionate you are. You can hear it in your voice. You can see it in how excited you are sitting in the chair there. Like, it does so much. Like, you'll be inspiring other electricians around Australia, around the world that come across your page, see what you do, see how you put it out there, see how you look after your team, all those types of things. Like, so the power of it is enormous, and I think so many people don't realise the power of it. Like, I know myself, I avoided social media for so long when it first came out, but I just harness it with both hands now. Like, it's incredibly powerful, and it's the main reason why all of my businesses are the way they are and as successful as they are.
Well, it's how, like, I reach out to you, find you, you know what I mean? Like, it branches you out in different avenues to find different...
It's why you're sitting here today.
That's it. Like, if you don't do it, it's almost that thing, you're going to get left behind. You know what I mean? I know there's some guys there's some older builders we work for that haven't really branched into that. And then, the industry has changed so much, especially where we are. And there's all these young guys coming up and they're getting all this crazy architectural work. And I know the older builders are going, how the fuck are they getting that?
Yeah.
How are these guys getting it? But it's like they're prevalent, like, you know,
Yeah.
like they're relevant, they're prevalent, they're in people's faces, like, you know,
Yeah.
that's what they're probably going out of their way to chase that work, and that's why they're getting it.
Well, they're putting people can see you.
Yeah.
Like, people can see what you do. Like I say it all the time. Like, I think social media is a new word of mouth. Like,
Yeah.
word of mouth is obviously the best type of work, and people are still going to be referred to you. But my personal opinion is the number one thing people will do when they hear about you is go and see if you've got an Instagram
They're going
account.
to look you up.
And if you don't have an Instagram account where they can't look at photos and things, like, what else are they going to see for you? Like, and 9 times out of 10, if you haven't got an Instagram account, you've probably got a 20-year-old shit website.
Yeah.
So how are people going to know about you, what you do, the quality of your work?
Well, I think it shows how passionate you are as well. If you've got a good website and a good Instagram that puts all your work out there, it shows that you care about the work you're doing, and that you know what you're doing as well. Because you know, you could hire an electrician and you look on their Instagram, there's nothing on there, or their website is generic photos, and you're going, like, this bloke, I want to do this amazing architectural build. How do you know that guy can do it? Because not everyone, just because you're an electrician doesn't mean you can do the right work that everyone else, you know, that you want done. Doesn't mean they can do it just because they're an electrician. So that's where it's going to make those people, like, especially designers, say designers are going to be looking at our page, and the houses we put up, the architectural houses, all that sort of stuff, and they're going to go, well, you should be using these guys because they've already done it. But the other guy, you go, oh, we want to use this guy. He's our local electrician. They go, has he done this sort of stuff before? Like, I don't know, because I can't see his photos or anything like that. So,
So mate, you're obviously very passionate. What's driving this passion?
I was saying before, like, having a family started my whole thing of running my own business, because I needed to. It came down to me needing to make money, right? I need more money. I need to make money. I need to raise my family. I want to give them the best of everything. And I'm one of those people. Definitely got ADHD. I go all in on everything I do, and I bounce around between things. I can have 100 things going on, but when I focus on one thing, it's like laser beam focused. Like, I'll make sure that works, and
Have you been diagnosed?
Nah, I don't. Yeah. I don't want to.
I don't want to either. But I don't know if you heard one of our recent podcasts. With
I did.
Adrian, and we talked about dyslexia and ADHD, and I believe it's a superpower.
Yeah.
Like, you harness it and you run with it.
I can't write for shit. I can't spell. Every time I put up an Instagram post, because I do all the social media and stuff, one of the guys that works for me messaged me, goes, you spelled that wrong. Fuck. Yeah. I check it. I look through it 3 times, and I'm like, that's sweet. I'm going to post it. And he goes, mate, you spelled that wrong. I'm like, what the
I get
fuck?
my wife, my accounts manager, business partner. I get people all the time.
I can't send an email. I've got to get the girls in the office to check my emails before I send them. And it's, even though it's got the red lines there, I can't figure out where to put commas and stuff. But I think once I had that focus on the business, it's like there's no stopping me. And you ask my business partner, he says the same thing. Like, he said to people, like, mate, it's good. I'll just let him go. And he'll just, when I focus on something and I've got an idea in my head, I'm going to run with it. Like,
I think we've changed topics, but I think this is an important conversation because so many people, and this, you probably were the same, like, at school, you feel like a bit of a drop kick. You're not getting your A's and B's and C's. Like, you're not fitting in with the teachers aren't putting you in the smart groups or all this type of shit, and you feel like you're always a bit behind, or you don't understand what's getting discussed. But everybody has a superpower. You've just got to find it. And school is so shit because it's not one size. Well, school is one size fits all, and we're not all the same.
Well, they don't help you harness those powers, do they?
Yeah.
Like, if say someone picked up on it, a teacher goes, mate, this kid, you know, probably has got this focus, but it's like not. I used to sit there and I used to draw every book I had. I loved art. I loved drawing. I still draw tattoos and paint tattoo work, flash and stuff like that. So I just sit there and just draw the whole time. So all I wanted to do is draw.
Squiggle.
I just wouldn't listen, and I'm just drawing. I didn't do my exams or anything like that. And I think,
you know, the studies that have shown or proven that some of the smartest people in the world are the ones that sit there and squiggle and draw all the time.
I still do it. Yeah. I've just, anything that's in front of me, I'm just drawing on. I just can't stop drawing little doodles and cartoons and characters. You look at any book I've got, it's just covered in shit all over it. So,
but I think it's an important conversation because I know, like, I was actually talking to, I had a phone call the other day from a father of one of the people that we've got in our Live Like Build coaching program, and he was telling me how Live Like Build's just been a saviour for his son, and he really hopes he takes it to the next level and joins our Elevate program. And he was telling me, like, he's like, oh, I listened to your podcast with Adrian, and it resonated so much. Like, my son at school, like, felt like he was no good at anything. He never got accepted into doing things. He always got bad grades, but he's become an incredible builder.
Yeah.
But it took him a long time to get over, and I know it did for myself as well. Like, getting over that, I guess, mindset that you're not good enough.
Yeah, and finding where you do fit in, and then harnessing that and running with it. I think that's like, because I didn't know either. I was so lost, like out of school. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Did you finish school?
I finished year 12, and then I got to end of year 12. I was studying. I think it progressively got worse for me. I lost interest. I was studying legal studies, and I did a lot of media and art. And then I got told by my because I don't know if it's the same. I did in Victoria. It's like when you do your exams, someone in the class is shit, it brings the grades down of the whole class.
Yeah.
She told me not to do my law exam because I'm going to drag everyone's grades down.
So that's terrible.
Yeah, straight up getting told that. So I was like, oh, okay. And then I knew I didn't want to go to uni because I just wanted to get out of school. And then I hated English, couldn't write. I hated trying to write essays. Then the art stuff, which I loved, you had to write essays about what I drew. I just fucking drew a picture. I don't know what it means. I just drew it. And then I'm trying to, can you write 500 words about it? No. So then I failed that as well. So it's like the thing I love just got taken away from me because I just want to sit there and draw pictures and paint cartoons. That's all I wanted to do. And then I had to write a fucking story about it.
Yeah, because the typical, like, the standard way our world works, puts people like us in a box, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
And, like, they keep pushing this bloody, like, go to uni and do all this sort of stuff. Like that. I was actually listening to a podcast the other day. I can't remember who it was, Real Bradley or Grant Cardone or someone. And I was talking about how one of the biggest rorts in America is the college scheme. And so people go to college because over there it's just pretty much forced into you. It's just
what
the
you got to
standard.
do. You finish school, you go to college. It's like part of growing up, eh?
Yeah, but they were saying like the number one subject or diploma or whatever they call it is English. And like I think it was Bradley, and he's like, I just say to people, like, when they tell me, like, I ask them, what language do you speak? And they say English. I'm like, what the fuck are you going to college for?
What more can you need to know?
Yeah, and they're like, what? It's just an absolute rot. Like all this money, and then you've got these student loans that you're paying off for years.
It's like a scam, hey? It just seems when you sit back and think about it all, and it's like I feel the other thing. I know around the world it's different, but I feel like tradies here are probably more of a pedestal than anywhere else in the world. But in American stuff, it's kind of like seen as lower class.
Yeah.
And then here, I think it's changing. Like, you know, the tradies are the ones driving the good cars. They got the big houses. Like, my mates that went to uni, I'm probably making more money than them. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's like there's no direction for that though when you're in school. And that's another thing that I do want to try and push is trying to get some talking into schools and be like, you know what, doing this is a viable career. And like, especially we've got a female apprentice. I want to try and, you know, do some stuff with her, bring her into schools and maybe, especially locally, like we're looking for kids that want to do it. Yeah. So me going to local schools and talking to them might mean I get an apprentice out of it. I don't know. But like finding people that are keen and want to do that. Yeah. I just don't think you have those people, no one guiding you as that's a viable option. It's like you go do your exams and then go to uni and become a doctor. It's like,
So how did you fall into electrical?
I kind of had it in my life. So first time, my mum was working for a big company as an office admin in Melbourne for Nielsen, and so she was working in the office there. I did my year 10 work experience with them, and they had the contract for the MCG. So I went there and did a week at the MCG, just changing light globes and doing maintenance stuff. Loved it. Yeah. I was like, this is pretty cool. Like working at the MCG, it's like pretty different.
Yeah.
And then I finished school and I go, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to go do the Cert 2 for electrical. She still worked there. So I got 1 day a week whilst I was doing the Cert 2 at the same company. And then my stepdad's also a Sparky, my stepbrother, my stepsister and step cousin on that side of the family are all Sparkies.
Yeah.
So I kind of had he's a TAFE teacher as well. So I kind of had that, bit of oversight of what it would be like as well. And then I actually went and did a snow season after I'd finished that course. I busted my knee. I dislocated my knee, and I had a phone call from one of the guys from that firm, and he said, "Mate, we want to take you on as an apprentice." Ended up saying no, and then I had a thought about it. I was like, "Fuck, all right, I'm going to do it." So I went and did it, and then I just did my whole apprenticeship there. I ended up hating it.
Yeah.
About 3 years in, I lost the passion for it. So I loved it, and I ended up working on a site with a guy that was just a shit bloke, and he just put me through depression, and I fully hated going to work every day. I despised
It's such a
it.
common story, eh? And
Yeah.
yeah.
So I had my mum working in the office, and he was saying like sexual harassment stuff to her and to me about her. So it was pretty bad, and I was young, and I just, I didn't know what to do about it, and I was kind of like, fuck, this bloke's pretty big, do I just punch this bloke? What do I do? Like, I don't know how to go about it. So the only thing I could think is I went to a supervisor and said, "Man, I can't work on this site anymore." We were working at like an oil refinery. It was like a full safety place, and it was shit work, and he just belittled me the whole time. I did paperwork for 6 months, just filling out, like going up to little things and writing down all the specs off them. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, this is not what I wanted to do. I spoke to a supervisor, and he ended up putting me somewhere else for a bit. But then I ended up back there because the guy kept requesting me. I don't know what, it was weird. Like he reckons he was training me. And it was a real shit situation. I ended up saying, I can't do it anymore. I'm leaving. And I had 3 months off. And my supervisor, this is a big company with like 500 people.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You take as much time as you need. I really want you back here." Like he knew that something was going on. Like I'd lost the passion for it. I was good, but
Yeah.
I'd kind of lost it all. So he let me have 3 months off, and I went up to Byron for 3 months and lived with a mate in a van. And I was like, "Fuck, this is what I want to do. I want to be here. I love this."
Yeah.
So I went back, finished my apprenticeship, built a van, and then that's when I drove up, worked in a shop up here, and didn't want to be a spark again. I was like, I'm never going to do it again. I didn't think I was ever going to do it again.
Yeah.
I didn't even have my license or anything. I just finished the time, and I was like, nah, I don't want to be a sparky. I'm done with it. And then met my missus and found out we were having a kid after 3 months, and go, shit, I need to be a sparky again so I can make some money. And that's where actually my business partner now is the guy that got me a job with a little local company in Ballina. So he sort of started my career as a sparky again.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing. I'd come from big commercial, and they were just doing house bashing and a little bit of commercial stuff, but mostly houses. I didn't even know how to fit off a light switch. I was so, I felt so lost. I didn't know anything. And that's when that focus, I was like, I'm going to be good at this. And I just went turbo. And I went from not knowing anything to running the biggest projects I had within like a year or two.
Yeah.
Being like one of the project managers there. And that's where it all kind of stemmed from there. And then that's where I got hungry for it.
But it literally is that simple, isn't it? Like if you flick a switch and you become passionate and committed and determined and you put in effort, it literally, like, shit can change that quickly, can't it?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, like, it did for you. And
Fatherhood did that for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I went about it the right way after that, but I think I stayed there for a couple more years. And then one of the other guys there, we spoke about starting a business together. That's where we came up with New Age. We made a logo. He actually went and started doing it himself first. And then I was just helping him on the weekends, and I was finding work going, I got this work. Because then I was doing stuff at nights, and then I was doing it on the weekends. And then it wasn't until my second daughter was born, and that's when I was like, shit, now I need more money. The guy, I was on $30 an hour or something, and I asked him for a pay rise. He wouldn't give it to me. And then I said, well, I'm going to go and work with Nick like 2 days a week. That can be my extra money. That's how I get my extra money. And I'll subby to you. I'll buy a car. I'll subby to you 3 days a week. It can be flexible. I can still run all your projects. I just need that extra bit of money. It's going to be like an extra couple $100 a week for me. That's going to help me provide for my family. And he just goes, mate, it's all or nothing with me, mate. So make your decision.
Yeah.
So that's where I made the decision to jump out, and we went gun-ho at New Age.
Good on you. And what's that, 4 years ago?
4 years, 2019. So it was literally, I put it down to the day my daughter was born. I took 2 weeks off for the maternity leave, and I worked every day.
Yeah.
I worked every day with New Age, starting that out. So I gave up a lot of time with my daughter, my second daughter, and I regret it a lot. I look back and I'm not stoked of how I did it, but I probably wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't do that. And I don't think that's the right way of going about it. Like I went, like I said, I focus in, and my whole thing was the business. I put that above my family, 100%. And I was so selfish. And then in my spare time, I need to go surfing because I'm so stressed from work. And then I need to go fishing. I need to go do this stuff. And I wasn't giving them my whole self. And I fully know that. And
did it affect the family life?
100%. Yeah, 100%. But my wife's amazing. Like, she's so supportive, and she knows what I'm like. She can see the goal. And then, like, where I am now, she's just sitting back going, like, we went from not being able to pay rent each week and having to borrow money, and now we've bought our own house. We've got nice cars. We've got everything we wanted. Yeah. And it's only growing and growing and growing. So she's been there with me from the start, and without her, I wouldn't be able to, I'll try not to get emotional when I'm talking about it, but, like, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have the support of her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely put so much of my time with my second daughter on the sidelines, and I miss that. And my relationship with her shows that as well. Like, it's not the same.
I think mate, just listen to your talk. Like, you're where you are because you can hear it in what you're just saying. Like, you took ownership.
Yeah.
And, like, you obviously reflect back on things. I think it's really important to reflect back on things. I do a lot of journaling, and like, I write I got a diary journal that I write in every single day. I got one beside my bed that I write in a few times a week. Like, you're taking ownership for everything in your life, and you're doing something about it. Like, that's why you're where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't dwell on the past, but it's like one of those things, like, you can never get time back. Like, you know, you can make all the money in the world, but you'll never recoup time. So I lost time with her, and our relationship kind of shows it. But now I've had my son, which is my third child, and where I'm at with the business now is, like, I can spend so much time at home now, and it's good because I'm rebuilding the relationship. She's only 4, so, you know, I couldn't have done that much damage. I just probably didn't change as many nappies as I should have. But might not be a bad thing. But yeah, definitely where I'm at now, I've realised all that. And, like, you know, I was selfish to my wife. She was not doing anything for herself, and now I'm like, I get home, she goes Pilates, I look after the kids, bath and feed and put them to bed, and, like, I've put a lot of my hobbies on the sidelines at the moment. I'm kind of going through a stage where, like, at the moment, my biggest hobby is my business, and I'll stay back and do the podcast, and I'll do all that stuff, and it's all for the business. But then I can get home and give her time and the family time, and I can be present more. I'm not ducking off and going on doing hobbies every night or every morning, and I'm more present with them.
It's really important, isn't it? Like, it's a team effort. Like, you've got to, and I'll put my hand up. Like, I was bad at it for years. Like, you hit the nail on the head. Like, you're so focused on work and busy and stressed, and then you think if you've got spare time that you should be doing something that you want to be doing, but it actually comes back tenfold. Like, working together with your wife, helping out, cooking dinner, like, it's just little things. Like, we've got a little bit of a routine. Like, I make the bed pretty much every day. Like, I tell my mates I make the bed, and they're like, fuck off. Like, what do you make the bed for? Like,
I try to do that, and then it gets remade because I don't make it good enough.
Sometimes. But, like, you've got to work together. Like, the house, it's not the old school way where all the fucking house jobs are the wife's job, and the husband goes out and does his job all day. Like, there's still a lot more that I need to work on and do around the house, and that it's just been having that making those conscious decisions to help out wherever you can.
Team. Yeah. You got to be a team, and if you don't, I didn't realize that. And my whole goal was, like, I'm doing the work. You look after the kids. I'm going to make us money, and that's my goal. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to be boom, 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 boom. I'm going to do all this. You can just sit aside. But she's got her own business as well. She's a PT. She runs her own business, which is going really good. So she's working as well, plus doing that. Yeah. So, you know, it's like, it wasn't fair. Yeah. You know, I was saying that, like, I'm the most important and I need all my time, but I wasn't giving her the time she needed as well. Yeah. And it definitely was noticed. Like, I could notice it. And then now, but our relationship now and our family life now is so much better. It's so good.
Oh, mate, the flow and effect is massive, like, with the home life and everything when you're on the same page. But, like, a big turning point with that for me was, I think it was one of Jim Rohn's books. Like, I think it might have been the best of Jim Rohn. Like, he's the guy that has the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People and all those books. But he talks about it. He tells this story about, like, every now and then him and his wife, they'd be away on holidays or whatever, and they'd have these massive barneys, and it would take them to get to a point of having a massive barney to figure out what was working and what wasn't working for each other. And I think like something that's really helped with my relationship with my wife is like figuring out who each other are and like what pisses each other off and what stresses each other out. Like, I know that's been a massive one for my wife. Like if I'm putting too much pressure on her in the office to get shit done, or I'm not helping out enough around the house so she can get her Pilates and gym and the stuff she wants to do. Like you've got to work together. Like
and setting a routine. Like I just said, you just set aside your nights you want to do it, and I'll just make it work. I'll change work because I'd be like, sometimes she'd be trying to book stuff in, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be working late now tonight. So then she'd miss it, and I'm like, nah, those nights I'm home, and I make sure that's like that just happens now. And then she's playing netball on the weekend, I'm home, and like I'm not doing it. Like what you set it in, and because she'd be like, oh no, I'm not gonna do it because you don't know when you're gonna be home from work, and I'm like, just make a routine. That's what I need. I need you to tell me you're scheduling in, and you tell me when you're doing it, and I'll be there. And then that's the only way it's going to work. Otherwise, I probably will be somewhere else because I'm focusing on something else. So
and that's what happens. But again, it's figuring out. Like you and your wife have done it. Me and my wife have done it. Like you figure out what works for each other. And, mate, I think that definitely comes back to the ADHD. Like I have to have schedules. Like, and it's still something that my wife and I butt heads on a little bit. Like if it's not in the schedule and written down, it doesn't happen.
It doesn't exist.
Like, or like you just said, I drift off and I'll end up over somewhere else doing something I really shouldn't be doing.
But I do it all the time. I'm like, we're going out. We got to go do this. And I'm in the garden doing something. Like, I'll be there. Like, we're going in 10 minutes. Like, sweet. And then I've started completely another task. What are you doing? I just got to go to Bunnings to get this. Like, we're going out. What are you doing?
Yeah. But, mate, I think it's fantastic. And the fact that you're reflecting on things and you're taking ownership of stuff, like, you could see how emotional you were starting to get there. Like, and I think like you can see how excited you are for the future now. Like if you've done what you've done in the last 4 years, like imagine what the next 4 years are going to hold. Yeah,
it's cool. That's what I think about. I'm like, right, so say I've built the business in 4 years and it's in a good place where I want to be, and I still don't know exactly where I want to go with it. I always had goals of being like the company that I did my apprenticeship with, I want to have 500 blokes one day. Maybe I want to do that. I don't know. I'm dealing with 20 blokes now and it gives me a headache. So 500 might be a bit hard, but I've always got goals and I'm working towards. I don't think I can ever settle. I'll never settle. And I never feel like I'm good enough as well. And that's my other thing. Like I feel like I'm never happy with where the business is at. And I always think like tomorrow it's just going to crumble. And that's what's always behind me. So when I'm thinking about what I'm, gaining more work and gaining more traction and building the business, I'm always thinking like, there's either someone behind me coming up right next to me or it's just going to crumble tomorrow. So that's why I got to keep going. And I think comes out the same thing you said, like a superpower, because it's making me not stop and it's just helping grow the business. Yeah. It's not going to come crumbling down. I know that, but that's just the kind of way my brain works. Yeah. And it makes me keep pushing with it.
Yeah. But as long as you, and I think you are, like as long as you're conscious that you do have to have that family time and that chill out.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the balance I've found now. But the only way that's happened is from me and Jared, my business partner, moving people into roles within the business and putting new structures in place to make sure that the business almost runs itself without us. So, the stuff that I'm talking about and is separate, it's building the business online or it's doing stuff that it's not really important, but it's still building the business. And that's like my focus at the moment.
So so have you done coaching and stuff? Like how did you know you needed to get structure and put people into positions? Because you went from like taking on another job where you didn't know what you were doing to jump into the deep end and starting a business to now having all this structure and 20 employees. Like,
yeah, I feel like personally I'm pretty like loose with it all. Like I could probably do the business without the structure, but I'd be fumbling through it trying to do it. Whereas Jared, he's like the guy, he's like, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. Like he's the direct one that's like, and then we just make it happen together. So we're like, right, I'm like, mate, that's a great idea. Why haven't we done that?
Roles? Like, what's your role? I'm keen to dive into this because having a partner in business can be very difficult.
So we've never really sat down and defined our roles per se. I'm saying this to him, the health and safety manager. I just took that away from him. He'll hate that. I'm the head of safety at New Age Electrical. So he's got his level 2. So, level 2 climbing poles. He brought that into the business. He brought and solar as well. So he brought both of those things in the business. He's so knowledgeable in the industry, knows a lot about it. And then I've got the background of probably the client relationships building client relationships with builders and customers and customer relationships, and probably, being the guy that the guys come to when they're pulling a sick day and they want a day off, they come to me over that. So we both have the different roles we play within the business in that sense. But when it comes down to like the structure, we sit down and we go, mate, this isn't working. So let's change it. What do we need to do? Like, this happened on a job. These guys did this. This went wrong. How are we going to fix that? And we make sure we change it. And then, so it was things like variations, like builders are cracking it because we're just sending an email with a variation or sending them a price. So now the boys have on site a form that they fill out, which has all the details of the site, the builder, what the variation is, the cost estimate that they reckon. They sign it off, the builder signs it off, the client signs it off, as it doesn't get done. Gets emailed to us, we email it to the builder, and then we can put a price against it. And that's just one of the things we put in place just to alleviate anyone going, who told you to do that? I was like, well, mate, your signature's on it.
Yeah.
So little things like that, which have just helped everything. We do like sheets where, say, all right, so once one of the guys forgot a conduit in a island bench slab. So now we've got a sheet.
Checklist.
Everything from start to finish. And it's like 15 pages long, but it's broken down in stages. So pre-slab, walk through. And then I call the guy, I go, all right, we check over every job. So, mate, where are you at? Oh, yeah, I'm finished. Have you done your checklist? Yeah, it's sweet. I go outside. Mate, your checklist isn't done. You haven't done this. So I can sign through it or make sure nothing's been missed.
Yeah.
And now we've got project managers that we moved up that are moving into that role of overseeing the jobs to make sure we can keep the quality of work up. When you grow, you lose the quality. Because I'm not on the tools. Like when I was on the tools, I know that everything was getting done perfectly and getting done right.
You've got to have systems, processes, and checklists.
If you don't have that, you're nothing. Like you crumble. Especially when you grow and people realise that, they start going, why am I losing builders? Like what's going wrong? Like, he's used me for forever, but now I'm not going to the job. So the builder was using us because of me, and I was doing the job, and now they're not using us anymore. It's because I sent old mate there who didn't really know what he was doing, didn't really talk to him in a nice way, and then, they didn't get the same experience as they got. So that's why we've got to have the processes in place where we still come to site. You're still dealing with me. If you're not dealing with me, you're dealing with one of the project managers. We oversee all the work, comes back to us. We can do, if you got to re-quote something, we re-quote it in the office that day, send it back. Like we just keep it churning, so it's an easy process for the builders.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to accomplish.
So how do you find, like I'm keen as, and look, if there's any tradies out there, listen, put your hand up, come and tell your story on the podcast. Like my mission is to level up, create a new building industry. And I really was pleased to hear that you're on, like you want to level up and change the electrical side of things. So I think for both of us to reach our goals, like trades and builders have got to work together.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit before off air, like I think so many builders make it very difficult for their trades to be successful because, like, especially even just simple things like scheduling.
Yeah.
Like you were saying before, like you ring up builders and try and plan your 3 weeks out and I don't need anything. And then the next week they're ringing you saying, hey, fuck, I need a rough-in done. Man, like if there's any builders out there listening to this one today, like fucking do schedules. It's not hard. Tom's Planner actually AI now. You can tell the thing to do a schedule. Like,
and like if your trades are organised, let them help you with the schedule. Go because the girls in our office are calling ahead and going, when can we come? When can we come? When can we do the rough in? It's looking like we've done the undergrounds like. And they go, no, it's ages away. Like, yeah, that's fine. Just let us know. We put it in the system and we can move it back a week. Yeah. It's fine. But as long as we're moving it back, you're still in the system. But if you don't tell us, you're not in there.
Yeah.
And we're booking out 4 weeks in advance. So then when you do call us and go, oh, yeah, I need it done, and then you get pissed off because we can't get there the exact day you want, that's not our fault. We'll do it. We make it work, but like it's not.
My termite guy tells me stories like there's a lot of builders out there that will ring him at 5 o'clock in the morning and say, I need some penetrations done. Oh, when you put on concrete, 6:30.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
what are you doing,
what
mate?
What are you doing?
How did you forget that? Yeah. Well, we get it all the time with things, and it's I get it when there's some things get forgotten about. It's fine. We've got a big enough team where we can make it work. Or if we have to, the 4 guys we've got in the office are Sparkies, so we just go out and do it. Like it, and I like it sometimes. Like, all right, I'll go do it. I'll get on the tools because I'm in the office the full time, so I like going out and doing it.
Yeah.
But when it happens again and again and again and again with the same person, that's when we're trying to drive it going, we know it's coming up. Can we book it in? No, it's all good.
So how are you, how do you find the quality of documentation that you get from builders? Like, are you able to price work really accurately? And like, my big thing is scopes of work. Like you've got to have a full detailed list of everything you're doing. So
I'm extremely confident in the way I pride ourselves in the way we quote a job. And when we're doing a quote, I know that I've seen other people's quotes. I've been down and this is the other guy's quote, and it just says like a few line items, and it's half the price. And I'm going, mate, that is a completely different quote. And ours is like 4 pages long. We've detailed everything. There's nothing hidden. If there's things in there that need to be done, they're not on the plans. We've got them in there because we know it has to be done.
Yeah.
And we're handing you that, and you're going, well, I'm going to use this guy as half the price. I'm like, mate, you ain't getting the same job.
Yeah.
There's no way that can be done half the price. I know everything we do, everything's put into calculators. I know our overheads, our costings. I know what everything costs. And we do a job analysis. So every quote we do, we have a running job card. So the guys put all their time, materials. We use Simpro as like a job management system.
Yeah.
Everything goes automatically into there, and we have a running job for every quote. So I know what the quote is. The quote's 20 grand, and then I know what the running job card is. Like the guys are working to that, so I know what the actual cost is. That allows me for the next job, if I've got to, bring my price down to be competitive, I know.
Or bring it up.
Yeah. I know exactly what our costings are.
Yeah.
And then when I see pricing from someone else that's nowhere near the mark, I'm like, either that person has no idea what they're doing, or they've missed something.
Yeah.
Every time. I know we haven't missed it. We sit in the office with 7 people quoting jobs.
Yeah.
Like we did a turnaround for a $1.7 million project in 3 days the other day. Builder calls up, goes, mate, I forgot to send it to you. I really want to use you on this job. And they sent us the plans, and he goes, I know you're not going to be able to do it, just if you can, like I want to get you on. And we turned around in 3 days. Like that, I don't know how many people could do that, but I was like, we're going to do it. I'm not confident that it's going to be exactly right, but we pulled this thing together, and he was like, wow, I can't believe you even did that. So, and it was all documented with everything in there. Like we didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
Not that I know of. I hope not.
But it's, I imagine you get some pretty shitty plans from builders that expect you to be able
a couple
to
of hand-drawn scribbles on a napkin sometimes. But we got some our own programs. So if that does happen, we'll go to the builder and go, get us a meeting with the client, and we'll do a sit down. If they don't have the job, we do a sit down with the client and we'll charge them. But if we get the job, we reimburse them the money. It's $250 to draw a plan up with them. It's like peanuts, really. And we're doing an electrical plan for you. Because then if you give it to another Sparky, like you can just have it, So
it's gold. Like that. I think all trades should be doing that. Like even if they're, even if you find a lot of the time on a lot of plans, electrical drawings aren't electrical drawings.
They're never like perfect.
Yeah, and they're not done by Sparky, so it might show lights and PowerPoints and switches, but there'll be a hell of a lot of other shit that's not shown on there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's great to hear that you're putting so much effort into them. Like I think. Like we have our quoting software, Quoties. Like the whole reason we built that is to give trades and builders the ability to provide very detailed scopes of work. Like you can set your template up once it's there. All you got to do is each job go back through and put in your quantities and your costs and things. Like you can smash your quotes out. But a big reason that that's so successful is because it makes it so simple to provide detail. Like I with electrical, like using what we request from our Sparkies is, and it sounds like you're doing it, like have a full list of everything. How many PowerPoints, how many circuits, what the circuits are for, how many light switches, how many linear meters of LED lighting, like how many, is there a pool circuit, is there air conditioning circuits, like list everything out. Have you allowed for underground conduits to the island bench? Like you name it, put it in there, because then when it comes time on site to do, like we, especially with the Sparky and the plumber, we always organise a rough-in walkthrough meeting, ideally 3 or 4 weeks before they're on site.
That's what we do as well,
And by having that fully itemised detailed list, it is so easy. Like at the meeting, you can be going around and making notes and talk, because clients we find that, especially with electrical, clients need to visualise a room and like get a feel for where they're going to put furniture, and they might want a table with a lamp on it.
It's different from when you're looking from a plan above, and that's what I always say to the client. I go, whatever that plan is, and you're looking above, it's going to look completely different when you walk in a room. So this is fine. We'll go off this plan that we drew. But then let's do a walkthrough a few weeks before, and we'll walk around, and 99% of the time, it all changes, because when they walk in the room, we go, oh, actually, yeah, that light would look better over here. It would look better here.
But having a list that said, like, if after that walkthrough, like, if you had 60 downlights and you now got 68, and you had 20 PowerPoints, you now got 30. Like, it's so easy to go, well, this is what we had. This is what we've got now after your walkthrough. If you want that, here's the difference. Take it or leave it.
That's exactly it. So we do a full breakdown when we do our quotes that we send to builders. And like I've seen other guys' ones, and it's just like kind of like a bit of like light and power, like no quantities, no nothing. And I'm looking at going, well, how do I know how do I know haven't missed everything? You've literally got every single point that we've got here. We've labeled it with a price and how many there is. Like, we don't hide anything in our quotes. We give our full price of what we're charging per point.
Yeah.
So because the builder can see that, and they go, right, so I know if the client's going to add another light, they know how much it's going to cost them. Sweet. And all I ask is they don't hand that on to someone else. And I put that on there. Like, I don't want other people to know my pricing, but if it makes it easier for you, and I trust you, that I don't do it to builders we don't know, but the builders we've got good relationships with, they get the breakdown of our costing, so that they know what we're charging. We're not trying to stitch anyone up with our pricing. We're literally doing it because we know that's what it costs.
Yeah. So what are you doing that's different? Like, why are you lifting the bar of electrical? Like, in
regards to that, we want to be lifting the bar with things like testing and safety and those sort of things, and that's what we delve into when we're talking in our podcast. Is about, we know a lot of people don't do it.
What's your podcast?
Our podcast, Spark Your Interest. Bit of everything in there. So Sparky chat, bit of business stuff as well. So just talking about what we do.
Yeah.
But we're getting tools out, looking at tools within the industry, that sort of stuff. We get apprentices on, other Sparkies to tell their stories, and just trying. It's interesting. People find it interesting. You think,
check it out, mate.
If you love it, then you want to listen to other people, talk about their work. Yeah. If you kind of hate your job, you probably don't want to listen to more Sparky stuff after work, do you? But
so what are you doing that's
different?
So
we want to, I was saying before, you're quoting against someone else. And if it's not apples for apples, because this other guy that's doing it probably isn't doing all the testing and stuff they should be doing. And if I'm a builder or I'm a client, I want to know that the person that's done the work and signing off on that has done the right thing. And I know it doesn't happen. And a lot of people say they do it. A lot of people don't do it. That have, it's a cost thing. Like, testing takes us a full day. We go around test every single point in the house. That takes at least a day. You know what I mean? And
so you got a checklist for that? And
we got a checklist. We got heaps of different testers, multifunction testers. You plug them in. It tells you all the results. It brings it all up. We go to every PowerPoint. We trip the RCBOs. We trip each one. It's like a ramp test. So it goes boom, 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 boom. It ramps it up. So you know that is signed off to the electrical safety standard. So it covers your ass. Someone gets an electric shock in the house and they go, did you test it? And they go, yeah. Well, where's your test results? We've got it all stored. It's all stored on our testers. It all gets printed off. We can hand it to the client if something ever happens. Yeah. If there's a fire for insurance, when you sign off on your, it's a CCW in New South Wales, like the certificate of compliance. I don't know if it's the same here. What do you require from your
Sparkies? Have to go around and test everything, and then they just I can't remember. It's a form 15 or 16 which we have to give to the certifier.
Yeah. So that's that you sign off on that you've done all the work. It's different in different places. I know where we are, people aren't taught, so then they don't know.
Yeah.
So that's why we're going to start doing we've got a big test board at our shed. And I'm not saying not everyone's doing it. That's what I'm saying. But I know I'll get so many messages from people, apprentices going, mate, my boss doesn't test. I really want to learn to test. I don't know how to get into it. Like, I don't know how to talk to my boss about doing it because he's just like in and out. Like, I'm like, mate, he has to do it. And the best way to do it is maybe showing one of our podcasts where we're talking about what could go wrong and it's covering your ass. You got to do it.
Oh, mate, on those volume type builds where
they ain't doing it.
They're in and they do a full fit off in a day. Like,
they ain't doing it.
That can be doing
They're
it.
throwing cables from one end. That's where it is. That's where the problems are in the industry. And that's what pisses me off because it's not, I don't think it's fair. One of the guys that works for us is real passionate about it. He's probably going to be a TAFE teacher one day, and he revs the boys up. He does some little training things at our shed, because we've got the test board where everyone can come and try out testing. He's made it all himself, came after work every day for like a month and built this massive switchboard that he will train everyone to testing on.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you don't know how to test, you're not a real electrician. And they like he revs that into everyone. So he's really passionate about it, which is awesome. Like, we got guys like that work for us. And now we're starting to have people apply for jobs with us because they know what we're about and they want to do that. They don't just want to go and work for someone and bash houses together and not walk away a good Sparky. They want to become a good Sparky.
Yeah.
And that starts with us training them. It starts with us training the apprentices. And that's what we're trying to get across. We talk about the most important thing at the start is training your apprentice the right way. So giving them the right skills, treating them the right way as well, and not treating them like a piece of shit is a big thing as well. Like, no one deserves to go to work. And I know what I was saying, how I was treated as when I was apprentice. I don't want other people to be treated like that. Everyone should be treated right, and they should have the chance to be taught well and be taught safely and the right thing.
Yeah.
So we got a big thing now about locking out. Like, you're working in a switchboard or anything, you're locking it out. It's got to be locked out. That's the rules and regulations. And so many people don't do that either. So you're working on a circuit, you go to the switchboard, you got your lock and your lock dog on there, and it's locked out with a tag. You're the only person with that key. Because, like you've probably heard in our industry in the last couple months, there's been 3 deaths from electricians.
Yeah?
Two
I
under,
didn't know that.
two under a house, so 2 different houses, 2 under floors in the space of a week, and a young guy in Perth in the roof, 23-year-old. So in Perth, you have to turn off your main switch and isolate the whole house when getting in the roof space.
Yeah.
It's kind of like spoke about to be, it's not regulation anywhere else, but it's like you probably should do it.
Yeah.
And then getting under a floor, there's no regulation around it. But yeah, 2 guys under floors, live cables. One of the guys was found with the cable in his hand, 55-year-old dude, found with the cable in his hand that killed him.
Yeah,
and
that's terrible.
And like,
you don't really get a second chance.
People don't understand how dangerous it is. You get really complacent, and I've had times where I've done stupid shit. Right? You're under the pump, you're in a rush, and when I've actually stepped back now and I'm running a company with other people's lives in my hands, I'm going, mate, I can't. I never used to be like that, and I'm changing it now because I want everyone to be able to go home to their families.
Yeah.
And I'd never want to have an incident. I don't think we've had one incident on a work site.
Yeah.
So, like, nothing serious apart from a little graze on someone's finger or something, and that's, I think, because we've got things in place. All our swims are up to date, all that stuff. Like, you try and drill it into guys about safety, and it's like, hey, righto, mate, but.
So do you have regular toolbox with your team?
Yeah, regular toolboxes, everything like that. We bring up when there is these things that happen in the industry, we talk about it and go, mate, a guy died the other day from taking a switchboard panel cover off. So now, if you're doing that, it's actually regulation that you've got to wear arc-rated clothing and be on a LV mat. You got to have a classes or gloves on and a face shield if you're going to be working pulling the switchboard cover off like a commercial switchboard,
Yeah.
So anything over 63 amps. So that's regulation. That's what we do. I supply all that gear to my guys. It's there. If you need it, you use it. But if you don't take it to site and you don't use it, that's on you. So they've got to realize and understand how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to get across, and that's what we talk about in our show. We're just trying to, because people don't know, the regulations come out and people don't hear about it. So
I think there's so much in our industry, mate, that is just, it's all driven by cost. Like, everyone's in this race to the bottom, and instead of doing things correctly, selling your service, selling your quality, attracting the right type of clients, like, so many trades and builders are just constantly racing to the bottom. Like you said,
why would
I
you
remember back
that?
in the day when I was in tendering scenarios, like, actually even before then, when I had my carpentry business, and builders saying to me, "Oh, this guy's 10 grand cheaper." Like, well, give him the job then.
Yeah.
Like, I know what it's going to take me to do the job, and that is what it is.
You're obviously telling me because you want me to do it. You just want me to match his price. So if you want to use me, then this is my price.
Yeah.
It's adding value to what you do as well. Like, you're not going to get the same level of service. There might be a guy that's really good that's doing it, and he probably just doesn't know his overheads and costings, and that's why
the biggest problem with our industry, mate, is people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And if they're taught by someone that doesn't know what they don't know, then they just fall into the same bad habits and do the same things and run the same shit business. So it's up to every individual to lift their game. Like, listen to podcasts like you and I are doing, and do personal development stuff. And like, I know, like even now, mate, like the QBCC, the master builders, like they send these emails out, and I'm sure you get master electrician ones and shit. Like back in the day, they would just delete. Like every time I see one of them now, I skim through it.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to be in there. You never know. Like I want to keep my finger on the pulse. Like any code changes or regulation changes or stories about accidents in the industry. Like because we do a similar thing. Like I try and I have regular, every time I go to my sites, I basically have a Littles toolbox with whoever's on that site, and then quite regularly we get the whole team together on one of the jobs or at wherever here or whatever, and we chat about things. And a lot of the times those things are things that I've seen pop up on social media or that's been reported in a master builder's email, and it's been amazing seeing the growth in my team just by being able to have those conversations. But I think the number one thing I've seen with my team is they see me taking the time out to invest in them, but also like I'm really big with my team. Like I don't give a fuck how long it takes, as long as it's done properly and it's done safely.
It's the same. This is exactly what we tell them. No one needs to get this done fast. Just do it right. Do it right, and then you're only going to do it once.
Yeah.
Do it safely. It doesn't matter if we've got a quote a job and the guys are starting to worry about pricing and going, oh, like we probably only had a day, and like it was probably down to us when we started. We were probably just pumping people on jobs, going, all right, we got to get this done. Like I know the way I work and the way Jared works, we rip in and we're going hard. Like your workers are never going to work that hard, so you got to kind of get that away from the way you're working. Like we're not stopping and having lunch breaks and doing that stuff, and I don't want them to be like that. And that's what we're trying to get away from, because that's when mistakes happen. That's when people work unsafely.
I've realised why people do that, but it's because we know everything. Like as a business owner, like you know what you've quoted, you know how much profit's in it, you know that if it's not done a certain amount of time, and so you fall into that habit of just rush. So, but like it's incredible. It's across the board, builders, tradies. I even think it's even worse through like building designers, architects and things. Like so many people in our industry do not track data and do not know what the work they're doing is actually costing them. And they do a job, they put an invoice in, the money comes to their account, and the wheels keep turning.
It's a vicious cycle.
If
you don't know, then you're never going to be able to
physically
correct it.
how much profit they've actually made. Like I had a interesting conversation the other day with one of the new members in our Elevate group about supervision. Like it was just, we were talking about something else, and in the conversation I was explaining how on my projects, because of all the data we've tracked for so many years now, like we know straight away when we do a job, whether it's a job that's administered by an architect, a building designer's job or a draftsman's job, that we're going to have to change the percentage of supervision on those projects. Because a job that's administered by an architect, as you'd know, doing architect's jobs, like they would chew up far more of your time than a job for a builder that hasn't got an architect involved, and you're able to make a few decisions. So tracking your data so that you can tell like how long your staff are on site, how long your project managers are on site, how long your supervisors are on site, so that every project moving forward, you can allocate the right amount of cost. And if you price a job, cover all your costs because you know how long it's going to take, and you don't win the work, that's the best thing that can happen, because you haven't done a job that you're going to do your ass on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's why data's everything. Like you're nothing without the data. So, you can quote all these jobs and do them for what you think it's going to cost, and then it's turnover, it's high volume turnover if you're doing that and you think you're killing it. Yeah. But you're not killing it.
Yeah.
And then like now it's interesting now, I'm starting to pull the project managers into doing the cost analysis. Like we used to keep it all not secret, but be like, oh, I made a bit of money on this one, made a bit of money on this one. And then now I've pulled them in and I'm getting them to do the running job card against the quote, and they're coming in going, oh, we did good in this one. I'm like, yeah, sweet. So what about the other one? We did good shit on that one. I'm like, well, that's where it all balances out, There's going to be some jobs that you're going to lose on because something goes wrong, right? But then the ones where we win big on, it's like, okay, so maybe we got a bit too much in that, and next time we might have to be a bit more competitive, so we can probably bring it down a bit and then stay level. I don't want to be charging people more than we should. We want to, you know what I mean? We want to be sitting in a spot where we're still winning work and it's like fair across the board. And, you know, like there's sometimes you lose, sometimes you win, but we obviously want to be winning more than we're losing. So,
well, you want to
be
like,
winning all the time.
Profit's not a dirty word. Like,
no,
the business has to make money. Or
I
there's
guess
no
it's
point being
hard
in business
with us because we're doing smaller jobs. You know what I mean? So like we're turning over 10 jobs a day minimum compared to a builder where they might be on 10 projects through a year or whatever like that. So it's hard. We steer away from hourly rate. I don't like hourly rate because I don't think you make money out of it.
You don't.
So we try and quote everything we can. We can't avoid it with some things, like the little jobs here and there. We charge service calls and service fees. But I don't like cost plus work. I'd rather quote it because there's no confrontation with the client or a builder. They already know the price.
Yep. And it's
not
up to you to get it done.
Mate, we got to work harder. If we got to get it done in that time frame to make money on that quote, and you've accepted it, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
But when it's like cost plus and people going, oh, you know, like that guy had 20 minutes longer for lunch, and then start arguing things and going, mate,
cost plus is the biggest disaster. Like it just leaves so much. It's just a can of worms. Like if you can, I would recommend anyone stay away from it as much as possible. But so how do you keep the culture in your team? Like now that your team's growing, and like do you offer bonus structures or like what's the deal when you get a team the size you've got?
It's culture's a hard one. I feel like I always say we've got a really good culture, and everyone that works for us loves working there. And I don't think, to me, culture. Actually, we were talking about this the other day. Culture isn't having beers on a Friday either to me. Culture to me is your guys wanting to turn up to work every day and put in 100%, you know, and that's sometimes they're not going to be like that, you know. And the thing is, I know when someone's down then because I know every day everyone's sweet. And if someone's acting a bit weird, I can pull them aside and go, mate, what's going on? You all sweet? Is something happening at home? What's going on? Are you all good? We try and pull people in for conversations and check how they're going. We pull people in for reviews and talk to them and go, mate, you're dropping the ball here. No, you're doing really well. You're doing really well here. Like, give people praise. And we do all those things. You know, we do a camp trip every year. We do all that stuff. But I don't believe that, you know, I see other people that go, we've got a great culture because I take the boys to the pub on a Friday. They might hate being at work every other day. Yeah. But Friday's sweet. Because we go to the pub.
They might not even be a drinker or like
that's it.
Whatever. Like, yeah, no, I think
it goes deeper than that. The culture is, I think it comes back to me, and it's like you want to work for a boss that you respect, and if the respect's there, I feel like the culture builds itself. We pride ourselves in the culture where it weans people out. That's how good it is. People come and work for us, and the culture, I don't have to fire people. They know they don't fit in, and they're going, probably not for me, mate. Like, I'm like, yeah, I know, because everyone is talking. We're all friends outside of work. We all hang out. 2 of the project managers are my best mates. Yeah. You know, like we're like a family, you could say. We all hang out. We all talk. We've got like our group chat. Like we're all sending jokes to each other, and I feel like that's where the culture is. Like you actually want to be there. You want to talk to people. Like people are taking the piss out of me. I'm taking the piss out of them. Like it's all banter. It's fun, you know. Like I don't see myself as different, and I don't think the guys see me as different to them either. You know, like I'm one of the guys. Like I'm still going to go to site. Like today, I was on site pulling in big cables with the boys, and I'm there. And I think I popped a hemorrhoid, a hernia, and a bloody blood vessel in my eye trying to squeeze these cables in. And the guy's like, "Oh, it's good to see you on site, mate." I'm like, "Yeah, I love this shit. That's what I want to do. I'd hate quoting and sitting in an office. I want to be on site." It's
unreal, isn't it? Every business owner you talk to in the industry hates your admin.
Yeah.
Like,
we just fall into it though.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a Sparky, right? And then somehow I've become a business owner. And there's times where I was sitting in an office for like a week straight, and I'm just sitting there, and the most exciting part of my day is going to get my coffee. And I'm going, I can't do this. I need to buy some tools online or something. Like I need to switch my day up. And I'm like, I hate that. But it's all part of it. And now we're moving people in. I've got an estimator, so he's doing more of the quotes. But then I just don't want him to just do it all. Like I'm still going to jump in and do it. But it means the thing I want to do is I want to be growth within the business. I want to do the online presence. I'm starting to do more videos and stuff like that. And that's where I thrive because I love doing that. And I'm going out with my camera and I'm making my own like little movies on site of the boys working and stuff. And then I go back and I'm editing it and I love doing that. I'm like, mate, if I can get paid to do that, that's pretty cool. So that's my
Well,
my
it's
new
the
passion.
business owner, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
as a business owner, you do every role in the business. So,
Yeah.
but I think it's really important as you grow. Like you have to find what you're passionate about, and
Yeah.
like you're smashing it, mate. Like I stuffed around for so long, like, and I think a lot of people do. Like, if there is like my big thing now is I believe everyone should do a task where you identify all the tasks you do in your business, and then you separate them into categories. Ones that you love doing, you get out of bed every single day for, like you thrive on it. Ones that you do well, but you're not real efficient at, and ones that you hate doing. They give you the shits, they give you anxiety. Like once you do that, like like that does so many things. It tells you where you need to hire people. It tells you where you're not efficient. It tells you where you're not adding value to your business. But number one, it enforces where you need to bring people in to do things that you're no good at. And so many people they don't know their overheads. They're not tracking their data. They don't know their costs. So they feel like they haven't got the funds in the business to be able to do that.
People get scared to hire people.
Yeah.
I remember when we actually just did a show with Kaz, who's our office, the lady in our office administrator. Is that what we call her? I couldn't remember what we called her. I was calling her the manager or something. So, and I was like, oh, so what size were we when you came in? And I'm thinking in my head like, oh, we had 5 people. And she's like, oh no, you were like 10 guys when I started. I'm going, fuck, like, did we wait that long? Like, we were doing all that ourselves for that long.
Yeah.
And I'd say to people, someone hit me up the other day and go, oh, mate, I got 6 guys. Like, when do you reckon I should get office stuff? And I'm like, mate, you should already have it. Do it now. I did it way too late. Like, if you're working all day on the tools and you're going home and then you're doing that's what I was doing. I was doing all the office stuff at home late at night. No one else is working. So you're trying to do it all when no one else is working. You're not with your family or doing stuff for yourself. And it's just like that vicious cycle of like, you're not doing, it doesn't work. Like it doesn't work. Like you think it does, but it doesn't. So if you just spend that little bit extra money, get someone in the office, it means you will be way more productive. If you just want to be on site doing what you got to do, you're going to be way more productive because you're not staying up late doing all the other stuff. You're just focusing on what you should be doing.
That is the story of our industry. Like most people are doing all the shit after hours. They're tired. They're getting frustrated with things. They're not quoting accurately. Like they're not putting 100% effort into it, and that's where you lose your passion and you lose your focus. And like I think that exercise I just went through, like the other side of that is like when you're identifying all your tasks, every single task that you do throughout the day for like, I think you should track it for 3 to 6 months. Like you allocate time to it, and you'll normally find that the average tradie is actually doing 2 or 3 jobs. Like if you allocate all your time to every task you're doing and you add it all up, you're doing your 60, 80, 100, 120 hours a week. Yeah. And if you divide what you think you've earned by those hours,
it ain't good.
You're fucking working for $12 an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and also with that, hiring someone, it's like you're giving up something that you do. But I realized I actually was so shit at admin. And I was like organising jobs and booking it in and talking to people and organising. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't know if someone else will be able to do that how I do it. And like they just do it so much better. And it's like that initial thing of actually getting them in and doing it and then realising, oh, actually, yeah, that it's so much easier and they're doing it way better than I ever could. And like the change in our business, when I was talking to builders, they're like, oh, it's heaps easier just calling the office now because like I'd call you and then you'd be on site and you'd forget. And then I didn't get the job done. But now it's like, it's structure within your business. Your business will grow as soon as you do that because you know what? It has to grow. Because if you've got an overhead that isn't billable, you got to make that work and get some hours to cover the cover their wages.
Did it or does it frighten you, like hiring staff? Because obviously you hire staff, you've got to make more money. Like how do you overcome that?
We know, like, from our calculators and stuff, we know where we need to sit for our overheads. And I do it every 3 to 6 months because the business changes. We buy more stuff. I put it all in. And then I know what our overhead costings are. So I'm like, oh, we probably need another person on the road. Or I say to the guys, like, maybe we don't need another person. And let's come up with a way where how are we going to be more productive and get this done? And then we work out, well, maybe it's another apprentice. You don't need another tradie. We can keep the cost down at the tradie. We can hire an apprentice. and we work all that out. Finding the right people is hard, but we're pretty like anal with who we hire because everyone has to glue together because we've got such a tight team. And as soon as you throw someone in the mix that doesn't work, we just had someone really bad that I thought was going to be good, and just it was so bad, and just HR nightmare, you could say. It was not good. So they didn't last long, but that was from the team weeding them out, and then we had to obviously tell them to move on. But they knew, like they were like, yeah, I thought that was going to be the case. So
yeah. I've recently made the mistake of holding on to someone for a lot longer than I should have, and you get stuck in that mindset that you're busy, you need the work done, like it's going to be hard to find someone else. So what do? You try and work with them, but I should have listened to the rest of the team a lot sooner.
Yeah, I also like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and that's why we pull people in and try and help people. One thing, you're never going to be able to change his attitude. That's always the hardest one. If someone's got a shit attitude, you're pretty much fucked. You're not going to be able to change the attitude. But someone who doesn't have the right skill set, we've had a few guys like that, but they have the right attitude. So to me, the attitude is more important. So
100%.
I can pull them in for a chat and go, mate, like you need to be more organised. Your attitude is there. Like I know you're keen, but you're just unorganised and you're doing this wrong. You had a bit of stuff up there, and the change in them is crazy. I've had two guys that are like that, and like they're like completely different, and everyone's like, mate, these guys are killing it. I'm like, yeah, because we pulled them in and we tell them where they're at. We're giving them advice, and we're saying this is what you need to do. We're putting time and effort into them, and we're building them in. We're like molding them into what we want them to be.
Like your team want to see that you trust them, and that you probably the biggest thing is that you believe in them
and you care about them.
Yeah.
Like I could just have heaps of people that are kind of shit and pay them not much money. And that's how the guy we used to work for ran, and didn't really care. And if they did some shit work, well, it is what it is. But your business is going to suffer for that. Yeah. So I'd rather bring people in that have the right attitude. If they're not as good as someone else, put them with that person and let them learn from the person that's really good, learn some skills, pull them in and go, mate, how you going? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm actually learning a heap from that. And I'm like, well, I'm going to keep you with them and just keep learning. Like, even if they're a tradie and I've got to put them with another tradie, just to get that skill set, and then I can send them out into the big world and go, righto, now you're good to go, mate. So see how you go, sink or swim. And they normally, that's when they figure it all out.
Yeah.
And I think they appreciate that we've actually taken the time and effort and haven't just gone, this guy's shit, get rid of him, find someone else. It's like, you know what, let's work with them. Yeah. And it seems to work so much better for the team. And everyone sticks around. We don't lose heaps of people. We've got the same guys we've had for 4 years, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fantastic, mate. I think you're kicking goals. Like, to you, what's a good builder? Like, is a builder one that has job schedules or doesn't question all your pricing? Like, what do you as a tradie see a good builder being?
Good builder, definitely someone that pays the bills. So we're pretty good. All the guys we work for are good at paying. We haven't had that issue with our regular builders of trying to chase money. That's obviously the first thing. Don't rip people off, I guess. But being organised, letting us be organised, letting us, I guess, bring our skill set to it as well. Like organising meetings with the clients. Like, you know, there might be a designer involved, but, you know, we do this every day. So maybe tee up a meeting with us and let us do what we're good at, you know. So someone we're really lucky with the guys we work for, and we've built really good relationships with them. So I reckon that's definitely a big thing with that. And then I guess the scheduling thing has got to be big, hey? Like someone who's organised, because that's what I say. Like, no matter how organised we are, it can all come crumbling down if the builder isn't organised. And there's guys that we work for that I know aren't organised, but I know they're like that. So I work around it.
Do most of your builders have job schedules?
Nah, not all of them. Some of them do now. And then we work for a lot of younger guys that are coming up as well. So they're learning and they're changing. They're adapting the same way we are. You know, we've only been going 4 years. They might have been going the same time. So they're sort of getting into it and learning it. But sometimes they're better than the guys that have been doing it for 20 years. Yeah. Because they know what they need to do, and they're bringing it into their business, where the old guys are like, mate, I need you here now. I'm like, that's a roughing that's going to take 3 weeks. It's like, yeah, I just need you here. Just come and do it. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, and that's when it all comes crumbling down. Then you seem unorganised because you can't get there, and that's when people get pissed off, even though we're trying to go, mate, do you need us there? Do you need us there? Do you need us there? No, it's fine. And then it all just gets thrown on you. So you've got to be organised. Yeah,
you've got to be organised. I think, mate, I think you're kicking goals. I'm really keen to keep an eye on you and see where you go from here. Like, be interesting to see what the next 4 years Like you might come back on 4 years' time, you might have 100 blokes working for you.
Oh, maybe I might be back on the tools, one man band, maybe if I get sick of it. So
So
who
what do you
knows?
do? Like business is stressful. Like what do you do? We were talking before you're in the Bodie Boys or something. Like
Yeah.
what's this all
The
about?
Bodie Boys. So that's a group of guys. We go down to the beach every pretty much every morning. We've got something going on. So we meet down there at 5:30, just at the local beach in Lennox Head. And it's just a fitness group for guys. Anyone, like there's kids down there that are like 9 years old. Guys bring their kids down there. There's dudes that are like 60. There, and then there's guys, everyone in between. And it's just, we run a session. So that you might rock up, there might be 20 dudes there. There might be 100 guys there. So it was a bit of random, like, oh yeah, I'll do it today. And now we've started picking names out of a hat to try and get everyone involved, because there's some guys that would come and they're a bit quiet. And so now we pick a name out of the hat. Your name gets picked. You're down there. You got to make a session for an hour, and then we
So
play.
what do you do?
So we bring kettlebells down, and then someone will make up a session for like 45 minutes of kettlebell work. You're getting flogged. Like it's not easy. Like the one we did today was horrible.
Yeah.
But you feel so good after it. Then we play touch footy, offside touch footy for like 15, 20 minutes, which is unreal. And we do that Tuesday, Thursday each week. Wednesday we go down the beach. We do breath work and stretching. And then Monday, Friday, we got a run club. So we do like a 10K run every Monday and every Friday. So we got a bit on.
How's that work for you? Like, do you like just the fact that you're mingling with other blokes, or is there a conversation of like just talking? Like, what's the big thing you get out of it?
I see those guys like it's a community, right? So it's all guys that you see in the street, and then they come down, and then you kind of getting to know them a bit more, and it's so interesting to see all these people, and all, you break down barriers, because even though there's 50 blokes there, someone could stand up and go, I'm having a shit day. And it's probably a bit different now. There's more people. Like they might just be saying it to the person next to them, like, oh mate, I've had this going on and heard this going on, and then you're getting support from someone there, because it's so weird. There's 100 blokes. There's not one dickhead in the whole group, which is unheard of. Like you'd never think that, but it's like every single person in there, I would say, is a 100% genuine good person.
It's super important for blokes to communicate, isn't it?
100%. Yeah. Like I don't talk to anyone, and sometimes I bottle all this stuff up, and then it might be, sometimes I might just write a message in the group chat like, oh fuck, this is going on and this is happening. And then the support you get back, and then you just get a phone call from someone like, oh, you sweet? You want to catch up? And like, I'm doing that over some of my best mates I've known my whole life. I'm talking to these guys, and I almost go to them first, because you know it's like with your mates. Sometimes you don't talk like that way with them. You don't burden them with that stuff. But this group is just so different, and like we do charity events. Like the floods was a massive one where we all banded together and we're stripping out people's houses. Then we started a thing where we were re-gyprocking people's houses. And it's all like we were just doing that in our own time on the weekends, just organising it. Half the guys were saving people in boats, like pulling people out, like that whole time. Like a lot of those people were guys from the Bodie Boys, and like they've won awards from it for, being heroes pretty much. And
awesome.
We're still trying to do stuff at the moment. We're doing a 100K run that we're organising. It's in 2 weeks' time. So 100K is over 24 hours. To raise money for DIPG. So one of our mates' daughters passed away. She's 9 years old, passed away a year ago. So yeah, it's just that, and we're all coming together for it. Like
how can people listen to the podcast, get behind that? Well, actually, this podcast will be out after that. So, but anyway, can they donate to people? Or?
No, we've got a fundraising page. We're up to about 30 something grand. So we're just going to keep trying to raise money. So yeah, I can give you the link for that for sure. So. We're getting there. I've never organised an event, and there's about 5 of us organising it, and it's been an absolute shit fight dealing with council, trying to get roads shut down and stuff like that. But we're getting there, and that was one of the guys in that group's whose daughter, and when that happened, it completely rocked all of us. But we've come together in such a way where we're all there to support each other, and that's exactly what it's all about.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah.
So you're into your ice baths and your breathing and stuff. Like, is that your chill out?
Yeah, definitely. Like running is a big thing. Like I'm a bit injured at the moment, so I'm going to go into a 100K run injured, which is going to be super fun. So, so running is like a big thing for me to clear my mind. I love doing that. And then jumping in an ice bath. So I got sauna at home as well. So I have sauna, ice bath, love it, so good. Yeah. And then it's actually, I've had a bit of a break from it, as it was a bit dirty with some stuff growing in there, and then trying to jump back in there is like, it's been a bit of a nightmare. But now it's warming up, it's not too bad. So I like it nice and icy. So make it hard.
I've been a big sook the last two months with it, but it, like for you, like for me, it's just about building that willpower to commit.
Yeah,
it's really helped my mental health and things, just being able to handle situations and
it makes you realize that you got to set a goal and you got to stick to it, and you get in there and you do it. I said I was going to do a 10-minute. I had that on my list this year. I was going to do 10 minutes in the ice bath, like proper ice, and I did that. And I probably regret it because I think I got semi-hypothermia after it. But I was like, I'm going to do this for 10 minutes, and like the pain was like horrible. But I was sitting there,
breathe,
like,
mate. I'm
gonna do it. And like after like 7 minutes, I was kind of like, oh sweet, like, you know. But I had that goal, and I'm like, well, you know, if you've set a goal, just do it, and it makes you become accountable for that stuff as well. And you know, getting uncomfortable. What is it? Ned Brockman says, "Be uncomfortable, getting uncomfortable."
Yeah,
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Or get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah.
So, mate, where to from here? Like, do you do, like, are you into your coaching, like your personal development? Like, how are you going to continue to grow and keep your journey going? Like,
I think, like, business-wise, we've got goals and ambitions. We're going to push bigger commercial. Like, that's our next goal. We want to start we're going to push up the coast as well. So any Goldie guys looking for a Northern New South Wales Sparky, we're starting to push up this way, and maybe probably look at hopefully trying to open another branch up here. Like, I think Jared's kind of keen to come up to Goldie way, so we might look at building another branch up and sort of splitting up a bit maybe, and running 2 divisions. This is like years away, and then pushing into the bigger commercial stuff. That's where I want to really just be prevalent in, and big houses. I want to win more awards. We got a taste for it. We went down and we won Best Residential Build in New South Wales at the NECA Awards.
So what's the NECA?
NECA is like the National Electrical Communications Association. So it's like the master builders sort of the electrical industry. So it's a big awards night, and that's up against some pretty crazy houses and stuff. So we took that out, which was unreal. So
was that, what sort of house was that for? Like,
it was like a big holiday. It's called Villa Riad in Byron, and it's like a massive holiday. Like, it just evolved from a house into this. It's like all studios off it, and like this massive residence, crazy natural pool, and we just like a bit of automation in there. The lighting was crazy, and it was a pretty standout build. Massive square meterage on it, and that's what we took it out for that. And some of the houses they were showing us, I was like, there's no way we're winning this. Didn't write a speech, nothing, and then got called up in front of, there's like 500 people in there, and we had to go up and do a speech. And I was like, thanks for this. What do you reckon, Jared? How is it? And he's like, it's just have a good night, eh? And everyone's like, it was pretty funny. Just, we were so underprepared because we just didn't think we were going to win. Like, you know, pretty small. Some of the guys, you know, like going up against Stowe and stuff, and so some big companies, and we just... I think we got a little taste for it, and like, no, I think this is what we want to be doing. So we're trying to push into finding those. We're in a small area, right? So there's some nice houses going on, but it's kind of, you know, the builders that we've only been going 4 years, they got their guys they've been using. So how can we get in with them? How do we add the value? So that's why we're trying to build the presence that we are. So people start coming to us and going, well, you know, these guys must be all right.
It's all about adding the value, mate.
Yeah, that's it. I guess I had a question for you in regards to, with that, like, what do you say if someone comes to you and they go, can I quote your work? What is going to make you step away from this isn't me trying to get your work. I'm just saying, like,
I think it's a good question.
What makes you, you know, dibble your finger in there and go, all right, now I might change my trade. You know, how long have you had your trades for? Do you use the same trades? Do you use different trades? And then what would make you sort of push away to someone else?
Mate, look, we've recently just changed a few of our trades. We've got some trades we've had, like, I think our plumber's been doing our work. Like, we brought other plumbers in over the years when we've been flat out and stuff, but Dan's been doing our work for probably bloody 15 or 16 years.
So it'd be hard for you
years.
To, you know, get
Mate,
someone
for me,
else
it's all... it's multiple things. Big thing is relationship. Like, I think relationships across the board are incredibly important. I would jump ship in a heartbeat if they ticked all the boxes. So for me, what I'm after now is like I want people that are on a similar journey. So, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much personal development I do, how much I improve the business, how many systems and processes I have, how good our quality is. The business will only ever be as good as its lowest person that I accept.
Yeah.
So if there's people, and that could be suppliers, it could be employees, could be trades. If there's people that have got shit attitudes that don't respect other members of my team, and when I say team, it's everybody. It's my suppliers, my clients. Like
Everyone's got to work together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm only ever as good as my worst person. So if someone comes to me, like if you come to me and said, hey, like for me, the first thing I do if someone rings me and says, hey, like I'll never say like flog someone off. If anyone sends us an email or reaches out and says, hey, how do I do your work? We'll always say, oh, look, send us all your details, and we'll generally jump on Instagram like we talked about before, and we'll check them out. Possibly talk to other builders and stuff. But if we're looking, like a lot of the time we're not looking because we are happy with what we got, but we'll never flog them off. We'll always say, look, send us your stuff through. We'll just keep you in our database because I don't even know. My Sparky could get hit by a truck tomorrow.
He's too busy and
and he might not like working for me. So it goes both ways. But for me, relationships number one. The first thing, if we did decide to work with someone else, the first thing is what you and I are doing now. Like we organise to catch up at a coffee shop or something and we have a chat.
Yeah, you got to see if you're going to work together and have that relationship for sure.
And mate, like we've discussed so much in the last hour or so, like catch up with them, have a smoothie or a coffee or whatever, talk about, you just get a feel for people. Like you get a feel for if they're putting in time, energy and money into themselves, if they're improving their business. Scheduling is massive for us. Like and time frame. So we will, like there's been a few trades that we've bought on because they've impressed us with their how quickly they've responded to things, the amount of detail they've given us in their pricing. Like we don't base anything on price.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted our work, the last thing that I would I don't want you to drop your pants.
Yeah.
Like I want you to give me the honest cost of the job. I want everybody to make money, and I want quality. But
that's how I feel like every builder should be, because that's when they're going to get the best out of people. And I know it's hard when you get stressed about competing against people, and you're going to be like, oh, like I could probably get. We lose so many jobs to price, and we're not the most expensive. I know that because sometimes we sit in the middle. We lost one the other day to, I think it was 10 grand, and they pulled someone down from the Goldie, but the job was close to our shed.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what was the reason for it? And he didn't kind of want to tell. And I go, mate, come on, like I'm trying to build my business. I just want to know what the reason was. It was a big commercial company from Sydney.
I think it's hard with I think it's harder for trades, like because the problem you guys have is you're working for builders that I would say 80 or 90% of the time don't understand their overheads, aren't quoting their jobs correctly, and in order for them to make money, they've got to screw you. So I think the best thing any business can do, so how I get my work is I sell it. I sell myself. So we've got systems and processes. People have got to fill out inquiry forms. They've got to meet our criteria. Like we just don't work with anybody.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, our clients end up spending 20 to 40% more with us than what they initially tell us.
Yeah. Because
we deliver a service, we solve their problems. Like how I do that, and I think trades can do it in a similar way. Like I have a folder on my iPad called Dream Project. So like if they make it through our questionnaire and they meet our criteria and we go to have a meeting with them, I show them this folder and I basically say to them, look, this is called Dream Projects because if we follow all this stuff in here, I'm going to deliver you a dream project. And so I put it in front of the client and show them, like, when you work with us, this is the type of proposal you're going to get. It's going to be 40 to 60 pages. You're going to get a full job schedule. I'll flick through a job schedule. I'll show them the contracts we use. Like I show them all the shit that they're going to get put in front of them. Yeah. And so I'm demonstrating what it's going to be like to work with us.
And that's value. You're
value.
Giving them
I'm
value.
solving problems. Yeah. I'm giving them confidence. I'm setting myself up as a professional. I'm getting their respect. I'm being honest. I'm earning trust. So I think trades can do the exact same thing. Like if you're a Sparky that come to me and look, you've only put this on me now, so I'm just thinking about it as I'm talking.
Yeah.
But if you come to me with a dream projects folder
Yeah.
and said, hey, look, if you work with us, this is what we do. We have a full job scale on a job. This is the type of proposal I'm going to give to you. This is how variation works.
Yeah.
This is how I liaise with your clients. This is the type of electrical drawings I do. And you show me all the problems you're going to solve.
It's adding value to your business as
Mate,
well. Then
I'd give you my work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I'll get that ready. Send it in an email. Or
but that's like, I think it's that. I think, and again, it comes back to what we were talking about before. Most tradies don't have the time to do that. Like, they can do it, they want to do that, but they're on the tools all day. They don't understand the business. They're not employing someone to help them out in the office. So they're trying to do this shit of a nighttime after hours.
Yeah, but that's all networking. So we've spent a lot of time with a designer. We've made a capability flyer that when I do get introduced, like the other day, I had a guy that I've done some work for. He's actually a developer, and he uses a big commercial builder who's stuck in who they want to use. He wants to use us because I've done his house. He knows me. We have that relationship now. And the other builders kind of like, I use this guy because I know his price, and I know it's just that comes out the same thing. I know his price. I know he's cheap. So, and then this guy going, yeah, but I like working with these guys. It doesn't matter to me if they're a bit more expensive. Like, I know their work. I know what they do. So he's put us in together with an email to introduce us, and I've, said g'day, and I just said, look, here's a little bit about us, and this is what we got. Instead of a website, we've got this, like, it's almost like a pamphlet online that just documents everything we do. And then they've got that. You can't throw it in the bin, but he might chuck it in his junk mail. But at least it's that thing, they've opened it up and seen it. Our logo's there. It stays in their brain. Next time they see a car, next time they see another car driving around, and then when they're Sparky might fuck up something, and they might go, who's that other guy who'll pull that thing up? Like, maybe we will give them a go. So that's what we're trying to do.
It's systems and processes will win all day, every day. Like like we've got a job we've recently started. We're trialing out a new Sparky.
Yeah.
And, mate, him and I disconnected. Like we it's a long story. We were pricing a job that a builder had gone broke on. We were trying to do the right thing and get the trades that already started the work to finish the work. And, well, actually, he did what I just told you. Like, at the meeting, he asked me, how you go with Sparky? He's got much work on, how many jobs you do? And he brought out his iPad and he was showing me the quotes and shit they did. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, they've just started their first job for us, and he, mate, I was so impressed. So he's got a few things impressed me. So the first one was, without me even asking, he told me how he operated. He's like, we have this many guys, you book us in, this is what happens, it goes into our schedule, we'll ring and follow you up, we'll check in with you, like all this stuff. And then, anyway, so he started, this first job's coming up, and so we've emailed him, I've sent him a text message just saying, hey mate, we need to do disconnect so we can do all our demolition work. He's gone out there, like he's locked it in. And we sent him our job schedule, and one of the first things he's like, far out, like that's fantastic. Like very few, like he works for, I think he said 140 odd builders or something. He's pretty big, but anyway, he went to site. He did the disconnect. Well, he didn't. His team did. And mate, within 2 hours or an hour of his boys being on site, we got sent an email with photos of everything, all the power points and lights they disconnected, J-boxes on them. We got instructions to where he'd set up the temporary power. And I was like, fuck, like that is the best thing I've ever had. Like, so straight away, I was able to put that message onto Slack to let my team know that, hey, the Sparky's been, when you show up there in a couple of days' time, everything's safe. Here's the pictures. Like, it was fantastic. I've never had that before.
It's processes, isn't it? And that's and like how good's, and then that's making you go, all right, well maybe the next time I got a job, I might use them, because if they're offering something that the other person's not, it's
mate, the biggest one of our stay ahead of it. One of our biggest costs is supervision. Yeah. Like so, and things like that eliminate a lot of it. So our jobs rely on, like, to keep our jobs the quality, consistency, stay on schedule, relies on. Like, we've got an incredible supervisor. Like, it relies on him getting to sites, checking things, letting the next trade know what's going. Like, one thing that I think so many trades don't do that they should Mate, it could be a text message, but send something when you've completed your task.
Just communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's hard. And it's hard because as someone who's an owner, you got to drive that in your guys as well, like,
Yeah.
and it's one big thing with us is photos. We're like, you take photos of everything.
Yeah.
Because it not just covers your ass, but we've got that documentation. So if something ever does go wrong, we go, nah, look, we got a photo of it.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, when something goes wrong, the photo we need isn't in there. And I'm going to the blokes going, why didn't you take a photo of that? Oh, it's the only thing I didn't take a photo of. I was like, mate, it's the only thing that we needed.
Oh, mate, we've just solved that. And again, it was my supervisor's idea because he does a lot of snow skiing. He got one of those cameras that like you put in your helmet and it films everything.
Yeah, all the guys got to walk around with GoPros on.
So now, like when we so before we start plastering, like once everything's done, tidied up, and we're ready for plasterers to come in, he does a full walkthrough with the job with this camera.
The 360 one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool.
And mate, it shows everything.
Yeah.
So we can put that on the computer screen at any point after he's done that and move it around and we can see everything.
That's so good.
Like,
yeah.
It's incredible.
I've got a mate in Melbourne that used one. So it's like same as the real estate ones where you can take yourself through a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3D, and it gives you like a 3D. It'd be different to that. It's like a 3D overview, and then you can click. You know when you go on real estate and you can click into a house and it takes you in, and then you can like click the buttons and it takes you through. So in Melbourne, he's been doing that, and he pays for it, and so after every rough-in, he gets it done. So he's got it all documented. I don't know. He probably splits it with the builder, so they've got the same thing. But he was saying like it's just another thing that adds value, and
because you can't hide. Like there's no he said she said. Like if something comes up at fit off, you go back, you look at the camera, like
photo tells 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So that's like we're like lucky we've got that technology to be able to do that. So why not use it?
Yeah, 100%.
Covers your ass. That's why I'm always trying to jump into people, because at the end of the day, I'm the person that is fixing all the problems. So I need you guys on site to give me everything you can, so that if I do have to fix a problem, I can prove that we're sweet.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, then it all comes back on me, and I'm the person that's putting the fires out because you didn't get the photo of the thing that you didn't do.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So, we've drummed that in the guys so well now, where they know, like, sometimes they put too many photos in. There's like 100 photos of
but it's
one
not a bad
PowerPoint.
thing.
But it's good. Yeah, I'd rather them do that than not do it. But that's taken, years of getting everyone on track and having problems where, boys have got on the roof and dented a roof sheet, and then we've got to pay for it and stuff like that, when they're going, we didn't even walk there. I'm like, yeah, but we don't have any photo proof, and the other guy does, so we just cop it. But next time, get a photo.
Yeah.
So,
well, mate, look, really appreciate you taking the time to drive up here this afternoon. Like, I could actually talk all night. Like, I think it's been an incredible conversation. So, mate, just before we wrap it up, like, New Age Electrical, how do people find you? What's your Instagram? Like,
it's new_age_electrical_co. So if you type in New Age Electrical, it'll come up. It's
website,
should be
same
the one
thing.
and only. Yeah, it's same thing. New Age Electrical Co.
Yeah, you got a personal Instagram.
Personal one, Poppy's biological father.
What is that? We could go on for hours, I think.
I don't know what I did there, but yeah, I actually am her biological father. I don't know why I put that on there, but yeah, that's their personal one. And then, we got our YouTube. So all our podcasts are on YouTube and Spotify under New Age Electrical Co. or Spark Your Interest. So.
Yeah. Awesome, mate. Yeah. Well, thanks very much for taking the time out. Really appreciate it. I think you've dropped a lot of bombs, and as usual, it's more information that's going to help level up the industry. So, look, for anyone that's listening to this or watching this, make sure you like, subscribe, share. It really means a lot to us, because we want to get this podcast in front of as many people as possible and continue the mission to create a new residential industry. So, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Are you ready to build smarter, live better, and enjoy life? Then head over to livelifebuild.com/elevate to get started.
Everything discussed during the Level Up podcast with me, Dwayne Pearce, is based solely on my own personal experiences and those experiences of my guests. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. We recommend that you obtain your own professional advice in respect to the topics discussed during this podcast.